What's up friends, welcome to this video. A nice and relatable video I think that we all can relate to. Probably we don't really want to relate to, but one of those things that we kind of have to think about at some point in our lives, and that's budgeting. Unfortunately, they don't teach us these things at school, so it's always a great thing to learn about and implement, and you'll find that as you go along, as you get more practice, you get better and better at budgeting. As you do it, as you get more experience with it, it does become a lot easier. It definitely is a skill that comes with time and experience, and you do get better and better at it. The more you do it, the more often that you do it within your own life. So what is budgeting? Budgeting is just tracking all the money that you make and all the money that you spend. You could just write it down on a piece of paper and deduct that from anything that you make. That's essentially starting a basic budget. But nowadays with Excel, and I'm sure there's so many apps that do these sort of things. I myself use Excel. I have used some apps before, but I tend to like Excel a lot more. I guess it's more customizable depending on what you want to do. We'll take a look at a sort of template of mine that I use, and if you're interested, you can always drop a comment or send me an email and I'll be happy to forward you that template if you would be interested in using it as well. What are the benefits of budgeting? One, it's being able to see where your money's going. A lot of times at the end of the month, if you haven't budgeted or haven't tracked what you've been spending, get to the end of the month and you check your bank balance and you just can't understand where did all your money go. I'm sure that's quite relatable to many of us. If you're constantly tracking your money and you've set up a budget, it's a lot easier to see where all that money went, and then in the future, preempt this sort of things. So you know what sort of amounts that you would be looking at come the end of the month. You would have a better idea of what to expect. In doing that, it's far easier to plan for the future. For say if you want to save for something, or if you want to buy a big purchase, say a house, anything like that, it's a lot easier and you can feel a lot more confident if you have all the numbers backed up by experience and time. So many benefits of budgeting and tracking your spending. I guess the only downside is that you actually have to do the work. You have to input all these values. As I said before, if you're looking for something a lot simpler, there are apps. A number of banks within their apps do a basic sort of, not budgeting, but more so that you can see and you can classify, things that you spend money on in a sort of like a detailed view or dashboard, and you can see by category what you're spending on, that sort of thing. But if you're looking to start with an Excel sheet and doing it yourself, manually tracking everything, then stay tuned. So what I do is every couple of weeks, maybe every 2 weeks, I just manually capture, the amounts that I've spent directly from my online banking statement. So let's dive right into the Excel sheet and take a look. I have one dedicated sheet for the whole year, and then within that we can see I've got a whole table set up for each month. There's different columns we can see. First one is for your any income that comes in. Your salary, any other income that you make can go there. In the column further along, the expense column, and anything pretty much that goes out, anything that you pay for goes into that column. From groceries to booking flights. There's also a column just to add some comments or a description. Then at the bottom we can see it has a few calculations, for the totals, total expenses, total income, what's left over, what you'd be saving, and then a percentage of your income that you are actually saving. So these are all good figures just to keep track of, especially over a couple of months. It's good to look back and then you can sort of see how you've improved, how you maybe not improved, things to pay more attention to. And here on the right, I've made a whole bunch of categories and they're all color coded. So what that means is when you come into this column for your expenses and you add an expense, you can then choose from the options in the drop down for the category and choose exactly which category this belongs to. And as soon as you do that, it highlights a specific color. I just find with the colors it really helps me just to be able to see exactly, like I know groceries are this color and I can just immediately see or the amount of times I spend on groceries, for example, just by looking at the color. It gives me a quick snapshot overview if I just want to see that at a specific time. I also used to have a dedicated section for any cash purchases, but many of us hardly use cash anymore. A lot of the times it's just on our cards. It's much safer, much easier. That's our month to month sheet. I then have another sheet which has all the savings from every single month that you can put into here, and it basically shows your total savings for now that you save per month. We can see in the savings sheet for every single month what we save, and these are just referencing cells in the previous sheet that we looked at. And it just gives us a good total over the years of all the amounts that we would have saved. From that you can see how much you're saving over time. So you can in a sense project for the future. If you're looking to buy something specific with a specific amount, you can deduce from this how much you'll be saving each month. How long is it going to take for you to reach that goal in order to save X amount and in order to buy that certain thing that you want. Just to note, this is a relatively simplistic Excel sheet or template. There are more advanced versions of the template that can be used. This template is a good base to start. It has everything you need, I think, if you're new to budgeting and you just want something to track your spending. I think it's a good place to start. And yeah, you can always evolve the sheet as you go along. Excel is very customizable in terms of the sheet and what it can do in terms of the calculations and stuff like that. Definitely start here, but please do add to it, include more calculations, include a variety of calculations. You can even include graphs, for example, just add a quick line graph of your savings over time and you can just see, how it goes. Hopefully it's heading kind of like that. That's the ideal, but life happens and things go up and down, so don't worry too much about that. As long as you have an overview and a good idea of what you're doing, what you're spending, I think it can definitely help you in your saving and help you in your forecasting for the future. So thanks for watching. I hope it was a relatively useful video. And as I said before, if any of you want to get a draft of that template, that Excel template, please do reach out to me, comment, or send me an email or a DM, and I'll be happy to forward you that template. I've also got a much more in detail template for a share trading account, which I'll try to do in a separate video. And yeah, it's the same thing before. Please let me know if that would be useful to you.